Oh, hi, I didn't see it. I bet you're an Extra Lifer. Wait, what is Extra Life? Seriously? Extra Life is a charity gaming fundraiser. We play games to raise money for local children's hospitals. We raised $13.5 million last year, and all because of people like you. What are you waiting for? Sign up to Extra Life to help kids like me.
Hey, welcome to EP Live, everybody. We have got a very special episode for you today. This is a stream to help out our friends at the BC Children's Hospital, and Allison Hepworth is there from the hospital. Nice to see you, Allison.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and this is, of course, to help out Extra Life, which is an incredible organization. You found out a little bit about it in that video piece that we had at the top. We've got some great guests today. Will Ho from EA Canada is here to talk about NHL 20 and his adventures with the NHL team. We've got Hans in, who is actually a lifelong gamer, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about how Extra Life and video games have been helping him. Of course, we've got Allison here with us. Steve Rechtschaffner is going to be here as well to talk about Ssx 3. But Allison, let's get started with you a little bit here. And the BC Children's Hospital in partnership with Extra Life, how did that start to come together?
Yeah, well, BC Children's Hospital partnered with Extra Life in 2011, and it's a pretty fantastic program of gamers that get together, generally one day a year. It's a 24-hour gaming marathon. And across Canada, we have 12 hospitals participating all today, either starting last night or starting today and into tomorrow for a 24-hour gaming day. And gamers come together to either play tabletop games or online games, all in support of their local children's hospitals across Canada.
That's pretty cool because this is a big, is it multinational? I know it's in America.
It is
in
America and Canada.
Is it anywhere else in the world?
Just North America for now.
Okay, but it helps out a bunch of different places all over the continent. But every stream, I think, is isolated to the hospital closest by, or the participating benefactors.
Exactly.
Right.
So streamers and gamers can log on to extralife.org and create their own fundraising pages and then choose which local hospital, so anywhere in the US or in Canada, can choose their local hospital and which ones to support. And we're very, very grateful for everybody that has chosen BC Children's Hospital this year to support us. And I've had the pleasure of visiting with a couple already, and we're going to visit a few more teams today.
What do you kind of recognize, because clearly video games are a big part of patients' life, I think, at BC Children's Hospital. What do you recognize with regards to the value of video games? What do video games and playing games mean for people that might have to stay at the hospital?
I think it's a tremendous help. We have a program called our Patient Experience, or Child Life program, and these amazing people work with our patients either if they're in for a day or an hour or possibly for an extended period of time, and it really helps our patients escape often from what they're dealing with. Sometimes it's very severe, or if they're in for broken bones, just to distract them a little bit while something serious is happening to them, or they have to talk to parents, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's also a way to be creative and really explore a different world and maybe try something new that they've never tried before. So we're very lucky to partner with many different technology companies that help us have games in the hospital for our patients to play. So it's a fantastic opportunity for them.
And this is a busy day for you guys.
It is.
Because it's sort of the gaming 25-hour kind of marathon day. And you've got other partners in the Vancouver area that you're also working with, right?
We do. Well, today we're actually lucky to have Microsoft here, the Pacific Center store here with lots of consoles for people to play.
Thank you, Microsoft Store.
Yay, thank you.
Yes.
But we also have corporate teams that get together and their employees build a team together and raise money for the hospital. So yesterday I was at Salesforce team and they are busy doing their marathon and going to see Relic Entertainment as well as a few others today. So lots of teams getting together, employee bases, having fun together, playing games, and often tabletop games as well as online games. So
that's awesome.
Really exciting.
Well, our stream today is about raising some donations to help out Extra Life and their mission to help out the BC Children's Hospital. And you can donate by going to extra-life.org facebook.com/EPLive. And the site is getting hammered today because it's a big day across the whole Extra Life organization. So just if you're having trouble logging in, just hit that refresh button and get in there. And if you can support, that would be phenomenal. We appreciate everybody that's here watching. And I'm going to try to do my best to keep up with some of the stuff that's in the chat. Do me a favor, though, and go all caps if you want me to read out a question or a comment or anything like that. Are you a big gamer in general? Like, do you play video games?
I would say that I love it from afar.
Okay.
I think Vic and I were talking earlier that I like some of the retro games. So the old Nintendo, the Zeldas, the Super Marios, those kind of things. Those are my favorites.
They're
Those are
all
the
back.
classics. Exactly.
They're back. We talk about that stuff all the time on EP.
Yeah. No, they're my favorites. But I always enjoy learning about new games and the creativity of all the people that work behind the scenes to make new characters and make it really explore new worlds, things like that. I just think the creativity is absolutely fascinating.
Have you found that the video game industry in general is quick to support and quick to be there? And do you have video game developers come and visit BC Children's Hospital sometime?
You know what? It's my new, I've just started working with this industry in the last year, and I have to say that we've had tremendous support. We've been doing lots of reach outs to different studios, from VR to major organizations like EA, and their teams have been so supportive and are just want to come in, do fun character drawings with our kids, or playing games, coming in and playing games. But we welcome all the support. So if you want to touch base with us and work with us, we would love to have you. So
that is terrific. Okay, well, we have got some great guests to start bringing up on stage with us. We're going to talk to William Ho first up about EA's NHL 20. But first, have a quick look at this.
Extra Life was born. It just occurred to me that gamers should be able to do the things they love to help sick and injured kids as well. And so the funds that Extra Lifers raise can go to a variety of purposes in the local area at the local hospital.
So maybe your extra $20 or your extra $50 goes to curing 87% of children with leukemia.
62 kids like me enter a children's hospital every minute.
And I was one of those kids. You could save their life too.
Play games, heal kids.
All right, you guys, Will Ho has been on EP several times over the years, but never for an Extra Life event. Thanks for coming down, man.
It's so good to be here, Vic.
This is awesome. Remember, if you want to help out the cause and donate to the Extra Life through EP Live, it's extra-life.org/EP Live. Go there and sign up on the teams and donate if you can. Appreciate all the support and the help for that. Is the charity thing something that you've had to deal with in video games before? Have you ever done any kind of thing like this before?
Absolutely. At EA Vancouver, we always have kids come by.
Yeah.
Right? They always want to see how their favorite games are made, right? So look behind the scenes, and we often give tours, and it's great seeing the kids' eyes light up.
Yeah.
Right, when they see what goes into it, and I think in particular they love seeing how the animations come together. They love seeing the motion capture studio, because that's sort of like where the magic happens, right? Where things come to life, right? How their hockey heroes, are made.
Yeah, for sure. You hold your mic up a little bit closer to you. You are obviously a massive fan of hockey games. Were you a Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo hockey fan? Were you playing hockey games back then?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on Super Nintendo, right?
Okay.
The classic, NHLPA 93 days and NHL 94, 95,
and you
96.
weren't in the business then, right? You were just a...
I was just a fan back then. But then, the right things happened, and I moved to Vancouver and got to the video game industry. And got to work in sports games. My dream came true quite early. I feel blessed.
That is awesome. Now, how long have you been on the NHL team at EA?
Yeah, so in this stint, I've been on the NHL team for about 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Before
and had you been? You were on.
I was on Need for Speed before. Yeah.
Had you ever done any hockey stuff prior to this last couple of years? Or
I had. Yeah, a couple different times in my career.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked on some hockey games at Radical Entertainment way back in the day, and then worked on. NHL hits for Midway.
Of course, right.
Yeah, so I'm glad that I've had my dream come true a number of different times.
Was hockey always your bag? Was that always your
Always,
sport?
yeah, because I grew up an Oilers fan,
yeah,
lifelong Oilers fan here.
We got an Oilers fan in the audience. Jason's from Edmonton.
All right.
Are you from Edmonton? We have 3 people from Edmonton here. That's insane. That's
way to represent. Yeah, but I grew up an Edmonton Oilers fan, during the dynasty years in the 80s, right? Gretzky, Messier, Curry. coffee, during those days. And I grew up an Oiler fan in Calgary, if you can believe it. So it made me tough.
Oh, that's so rad. We got a great super chat from Numa Rocchietti, and hope to bring some joy with this. That is very sweet. We will be donating that super chat to the Extra Life cause here, so that is so cool. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. We'd prefer that you donate to the Extra Life directly if you can. extra-life.org/EPLive. But this is sweet. We will take it, and we will send that money over to Extra Life ourselves. So I appreciate that very much. That's very kind of you. We just got another one from Rip RPG. That's cool. I guess if you can't log on to the Extra Life site, yeah, people just keep reloading because this is the big day, right? So lots and lots of people are flooding the Extra Life servers right now. So just keep reloading. If you can't, if you're cool with putting super chats together, we'll total up whatever comes together out of this stream, and we'll send Extra Life a check after all of that stuff. But really appreciate your support today, guys. It's awesome. Now let's talk a little bit about NHL 20. The game's been out for about a little more than a month, right?
Yeah, it comes out mid-September.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you're already thinking about the next one, aren't you? I can tell.
Always thinking hockey, but no, it's been a great launch. People have really gravitated towards NHL 20.
Yep.
These new online modes, Eliminator, where you get to play sort of battle royale style hockey. People are coming back to Hockey Ultimate Team. We have this new squad battles feature where you get to play against teams from personalities and celebrities like Austin Matthews and Henrik Lundqvist. Our play-by-play guys, James Cebulski,
They did a
Ray
great job.
Farrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
How do they feel? Because they're Vancouver boys, right?
They're amazing. Yeah. What's great is they're both based in Vancouver, so they can come into the studio every single week and record with us and get more and more commentary and riff and develop this amazing chemistry.
This must
that
be
you really hear in the game.
One of the best gigs if you're in commentary.
Oh yeah.
To be a part of the NHL game franchise, that must be like the holy grail.
I think so. I think Ray Farrow, in addition to being just passionate about talking about hockey, like it's impossible to stop him from talking about hockey. But because he has two young boys who are getting into hockey, he's a hero to them, right?
Yeah.
He's the voice in the game. So it is a pretty good gig. Yeah.
When you come up with a mode like the Eliminator / Battle Royale thing that you guys put together, which was great, by the way, how does that feature get proposed? Is that one person that comes into the room and like, I had this dream last night and let's see if this will work, or how do you do
we
that?
get ideas from all different directions, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't all come from me.
Yeah.
It comes from like everyone on our team, right? And, we'll get lots of ideas from what people are playing, right? We have a lot of PUBG fans on our team, and go, well, hey, what if we had this mode where I just play, 3 or 4 matches, and then like people are eliminated each time, and then if I'm eliminated, I get to start all over again, right? So it's this nice tight loop, and you feel like you can sort of be that champ within about 20 minutes.
That's awesome. Now you have, like every sports game today, you have like 10 games in your one game. There's all these different modes and different ways to play. Do you have kind of the statistics on what the most popular mode is, or the way that most people are playing NHL 20?
Yeah, I mean, there are different kinds of modes for different fans, like you say. And, we have, some people who will play nothing but Hockey Ultimate Team, right? So fancy to build their team, across different eras, with active players and legends. And then we've got people who love EA Sports Hockey League, right?
Yeah.
Getting together with your buddies and, forming clubs and taking down the best in the world. And some people like a more casual modes, right? So, we find people coming back and playing threes over and over again if you want over-the-top arcade-inspired hockey. So really, there's something for everyone.
That's great. You guys put a lot of features into this year's franchise, and what happens a lot as we transition to next gen is that stuff gets kind of dropped out as new technology comes into place. Are you guys grappling with that right now for what you're going to stack into the next year's game? Or?
Yeah, it's still a bit too soon for us to talk about what's happening for PlayStation 5 and beyond, and Microsoft Scarlet. But it's amazing how much power we're going to have, right? And it's amazing, they're all talking about load times, and we just want the best, fastest experience for our players to get into hockey over and over again. So I think fans are going to be pretty happy with what we're going to cook up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you? I want to get into the questions about next year. We're going to get a lot of no comments. No comments. Have you got like prototype stuff kicking or anything like that? Have you got blocks, blocky polygon hockey players?
I'm sure we've got some blocks skating around a rectangle somewhere. I don't know.
That's great, man. Clearly the arcade hockey experience is a big part of NHL now, but I know that we're going to have Steve Rechtschaffner on talking about Ssx, and of course he worked on NBA Street, and there was a FIFA Street and an NFL Street. Has there been any discussion at EA to do like a straight arcade hockey only type of experience, or to maybe carve out threes or ones?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
like
we don't look at it strictly as arcade. We look at it as, how can we express hockey in our game in every different form that people play hockey in real life,
yeah.
right? Because we are an authentic hockey game that favors fun. So, when you look at a mode like threes, 3-on-3 hockey happens in the NHL, right?
Yeah.
It's just that we've amped it up to 11,
Yeah.
right? And then we have a mode called ones where you are playing pond hockey, right? It's 1v1v1, free for all, no rules hockey.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't feel that arcade is a different experience. It's actually integral to, you might want to play ones and then go into full 6v6 and then play through a season and then go back to threes, right? All of these are different forms of hockey.
And I guess if you get people hooked on one mode, you get them experimenting to try other modes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? And I guess that's the idea for you.
And you don't have to go to an arcade experience to have fun or be surprised by things. For instance, right now, if you go into World of Chell, you can earn gear that is Halloween themed, right? So you can dress up as a werewolf goalie, right? Or you can be a mummy skater.
Okay.
And so there's an element of fun and accessibility and surprise, even when you're playing simulation hockey.
Yeah, and honestly, when you look at all the sports games, NHL has always been that, because it's such a crazy sport to begin with.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just careening down the ice at 100 miles an hour, and it's just
it's the fastest sport out there.
It's insane. So it translates to the video game arena, and it always has exceptionally well, right?
Oh yeah, we feel that the flow of the game and the fact that it is 5 skaters versus 5 skaters. When you're playing online and everyone's playing a particular position or role, right, everyone is always involved in the play, and that's what makes it a great social experience, makes it a great competitive experience.
Yep, that's awesome. When do you guys start the pitch process for a year? Do you start it because you got to make a game every year, like for NHL 20?
Happens every single year.
Yeah. For NHL 20, had you shipped 19 and then you can think about 20?
Yeah. So as we start to wind down, as a particular NHL starts to crystallize, we're always getting feedback from players, right? Internally, we bring in play testers. We always have an inkling of what's next, right?
Yeah.
We have to freeze a game to put it on a disc, right, and put it out into the world.
Yeah.
But then we're all already thinking about what we're going to do next, what we're going to do post-launch. Right? We're always thinking about the future.
Right. I guess it's there's the live services as a sort of theme in games. It applies to a lot of different games, but when you're talking about a seasonal experience like NHL, you guys almost sort of laid the groundwork, all the sports teams, for what live services means in a way.
Yeah, because people are playing through their seasons online in NHL 20, right?
Yeah.
Just like real hockey, right?
Yes.
And so
does that become too much as a game maker?
It's a lot to take into account, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the good old days, right, where you just had to press a cartridge or a disc and then you didn't have updates. You could actually take a break and then think about the next game. But now we're thinking, about the current one. We're thinking about how to improve it. Thinking about the next one.
Yeah.
There's always something down the pipe, and so. It's never boring, Vic.
No,
that's the plus. It's never boring.
On this side either, right? That's the thing. The subscription service model is becoming a much bigger thing across all entertainment. Can you see a day when people will just subscribe to NHL and the updates and the content stream will just be like a continuous stream like that?
Certainly it's a possibility, but for now, what we like is that players are gravitating towards NHL every single September, right? And then we have a full year of programming assigned with that game, and so that's the way our fans are enjoying NHL right now, and so who knows what'll happen in the future, but that's the way we like to do it right now.
Awesome. You mentioned that your team likes to play a lot of PUBG, and I like the fact that you threw an olive branch. You could have mentioned Apex Legends, but you said PUBG, which is
we
great.
Do have a lot of team members playing Apex at lunchtime as well.
You're gonna get that memo from somebody. But I'm curious. You guys clearly play games that aren't sports games, and you take inspiration from all over the place. Do you guys have video game nights? Do you guys get together and sort of say, let's play this together and let's analyze this together?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we decide to play the games together to analyze them. We play them because they're fun.
Right, okay.
A bunch of us are on a WhatsApp, kind of a mailing list.
Yeah.
Right, and then if someone wants to, party up on a given night, they go, hey, let's play this game tonight.
Yeah.
Right, and so, a bunch of our team members will just get together, or, like I mentioned, at lunch hours, a number of our team members will, crew up and play whatever game they want. But we are inspired by more than just sports.
Do you guys, that's awesome.
Yeah, we want to be more than the best sports game. We want to be the best game up there.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like some favorites from 2019 when you look back? We're near the tail end of the year. Do you guys talk about some of the best stuff that has come out this year?
Yeah, I think, it goes back to, we did have a lot of our team members play PUBG a lot. Apex always comes up, especially because it is sort of the, homegrown, right? It's part of the family.
Yes.
Yeah, but lots of people playing. We still have some Overwatch fans, right? I guess there's a lot of shooter fans around.
You blow off a lot of steam, I think, when you're doing something like that. I remember I worked at Black Box, which you worked at. I don't know if we intersected, though. I was only there for a few months, but one of the things that was pretty crazy I was working on a NASCAR game back then. And every day at 3 o'clock, we just said, okay, keyboards, mice down. Well, actually, no, we would still use keyboard and mice, but we'd all play Doom together.
Right.
Or it was actually Quake together. And it was crazy, crazy fun. Do you guys do that as a collective?
Yeah, we actually, the game we play the most together is actually NHL.
Oh, yeah.
We have regularly scheduled play tests together. Also, we have our internal league where, one of our, QA leads, keeps track of all the stats, right? All of the goals scored, all the win-loss records. And so that's actually the game we play the most as a team.
That is awesome. And do you look at the other sports games? Do you look at what NBA 2K and Madden and all the other guys are working?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with our, EA Sports cousins, right? We're just across the hall from our fighting team and, FIFA. And, we're always talking with our colleagues at Tiburon about what they're doing. Madden's fantastic this year with their face of the franchise.
Yeah.
So, we're a pretty tight group.
This is a good question here from Dr. Gamelove. You've already answered this, but I think this kind of speaks to the idea that there still exists, or there has grown a bit of a separation from some specific gaming type people and specific sports type people. And I think the work that your team and the 2K team and all the sports teams are always working on is just bringing regular game fans back to sports games in some ways.
Yeah, because you look at what's going on in games, people just want a competitive experience. They want an experience they can get into. They want an experience they can get into with friends.
Yes.
Right, and these are not sports game needs or shooter game needs or platform game needs. These are gamer needs.
Yeah.
Right, and when we talk with our the other teams, we always try to address the same needs. So why not do it together?
Yeah, and what's interesting, I came up from the era where sports games were just video games, right? They were just another part of the diet, but they become very specialized, and they become, because there's so much detail. But that's the challenge for you as a creative director. It's like, how do we bring people back, and how do we get
right.
Right?
Yeah,
okay,
how do you get into gameplay with fans, really easily? How do you rank up? How do you level up? How do players feel rewarded? Right?
Well,
Those are
Dr.
universal.
Gamelove asks, have sports games gotten to the point of every person being an actual gamer on each team? And that's...
Yeah, so that's why we have to be inspired by games in general.
Yeah,
right?
But every person, every player on the team can be a person.
Absolutely.
In real life over the internet. And we've been able to do that for a while, but Dr. Gamelove clearly hasn't been playing sports games for a little while. Let's see, I got another question in there. Do you talk to the NHL players about the game? I think you do continuously, yes?
We do hear...
This is from Andrew Spurrell.
We do hear from players. We know of a number of NHL players who love the game. I was able to spend some time this summer with players like Brady Tkachuk and Jordan Greenway and Pierre-Luc Dubois, and these are guys who seriously love NHL. And I was talking with Brady Tkachuk, and he has this rivalry with his brother Matt, where whenever they're not playing hockey on the ice, they're playing in our game, which is incredible, right?
That's great. Are you guys simming the season as you're going, or do you wait until kind of the Stanley Cup?
We tend to do it at the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
and then at the beginning of the playoffs when the 16 teams in real life are seeded.
Okay, and how's the sim going so far?
Well,
How
we don't check in day to day, but
Yeah.
I think we did pick the Lightning again this year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that they're going to take the whole thing?
That's what the sim said this year.
And how are the Lightning doing right now?
It's still early.
Okay,
Still early,
yeah.
let's say.
It is really
It's
early,
a long
right?
it's a long
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
Lots of ups and downs, ebbs and flows.
And
Yeah.
how are the Canucks doing? Are they your
Canucks
home,
doing well.
Are they your home team now, or is it still the Oilers?
No, the Oilers are still my team. Yeah, I bleed blue and orange.
Okay. All right.
They're off to an amazing start this year. It's a
That-
good year to be an Oiler fan.
That is awesome. Oh, I got a question from Marco Way. Why no NHL? This is a great question. Why no NHL love for the PC? I have Origin access and would love to play this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And why no Switch love?
Well, we talk
Come
about
on.
that. We talk about that, every year.
This was supposed to be just a friendly get-together.
I
When
know,
put the
I know,
heat
you're
and the
grilling
pressure-
me.
Can we get the lights in a bit closer on William, please?
But no, it's something we always look at. It's
Yeah.
something that a lot of the members on our team.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of members on our team are PC gamers.
Yep.
Right?
You could put Mario in the NHL game, dude. It'd be so
I don't know
fun.
about that, but
Yeah.
but we'll see.
call Nintendo.
We'll see. We're always looking at it, and when the right time comes, you'll know it. You'll hear it. From us.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Maybe.
We got a big maybe.
Definitely maybe.
We got a big maybe, Marco. So stay tuned for that. Question from Hip Hop Dan: will you do celebrity cameos? I know that you, in some of the marketing material that you guys were putting together, you had Drake pop in a few of these things. I don't know if that was supposed to be out in the public, but
Yeah, I think we really tried to design a live service this year where you'll be surprised by who you're going to encounter in the game.
Yeah.
Right? So in squad battles, thus far, seen a number of NHL players and celebrities, with their squad battles. But then I think stay tuned. You are going to be pleasantly surprised by some of the content we have lined up. I won't say exactly who it is, but it's amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got old games like Blades of Steel or NBA Jam. I mentioned were easy for anyone to pick up and play. It's kind of intimidating now. That's Dr. Game Love. I think. Explain to Dr. Game Love and the people out there that are a little intimidated by NHL why they shouldn't be.
Yeah, we've got a couple of different things. One is we have our more accessible modes like 1s and 3s, right? Turn the rules off, no offsides, just over the top action. And also for those people who haven't played a hockey game in many years, you can dial back to NHL 94 controls. So if you want just D-pad and 2 buttons, it's there for you, and it's still a heck of a lot of fun.
Once you do play with the dual sticks, and this is the year that you guys really tuned the skating and the stick handling like
That's
crazy.
right. Also, all of the shooting, all of the passing, all of the pickups, like all of these actions, we've really refined and smoothed out. And so there's a real flow to the game. And so the overall game speed is way up than in the past.
And you just feel like a total champion. It just feels way more like you made that shot. Not that you tapped a button and the right animation happened.
That's right.
But that you physically made the shot. And
And
it
that's
went
the
in net,
feedback
and
we've gotten from our players, that everything is more responsive and more realistic as well.
Yes.
And lending to an overall faster game.
That's awesome. This is a question that we'll probably get an evasive answer on from Taz. How is it working with the PS5 dev kit?
To tell you the truth, I don't know.
Really?
I don't have a PS5 dev kit.
Okay.
So that's an honest answer.
Okay.
I don't know.
Someone at EA does.
Maybe, I don't know.
But not in your office currently. Okay, cool. All right. I think that is great. What have you been playing this year? What's you personally? I know everybody at the office has been playing the multiplayer shooters, but what have you been playing?
I've just been diving deeper into our EA Sports games this year. Yeah. I was never a big football fan, but I've really actually gotten back into Madden.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because
What did they do
QB1,
right?
The face of the franchise, it really puts you in the shoes of a quarterback, like right from when you're a rookie, right, going to the combine, getting drafted, and I think there's the long shot before is their story mode.
Yep.
But what the new QB1 mode does is it really makes me the hero, right? I'm not playing as some character
Yes.
that is written for me and it's a linear story. No,
Yeah.
it's all about my choices and the consequences of that. So I've been really actually diving into Madden.
Why have you guys not been able to do the story kind of thing with NHL? Is it just the sales are not sort of the same as FIFA and Madden?
Yeah,
or?
we actually have a couple different modes. We have franchise mode and Be a Pro, which are that more immersive experience,
Yeah.
right? If you want to sort of role play as a GM or role play as a player. And we've looked at ways to do a story mode,
Yeah.
right? And we may have something to talk about in the future, but
Cool.
it's something we look at.
Cool. Yeah, those have been really fun, I find. A nice sort of departure from just all the minutiae of the sports titles to have these little emotional kind of beats like that
Yep.
in games out there. All right, my friend. I
All
guess
right.
I think you are free to go until you are able to talk about the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlet. Let's give it up for Will Ho and EA and NHL 20.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, my friend Matt Levitan is going to be back up on stage, and we're going to talk a little bit about Extra Life. But first, this is why we are doing this. Cool.
Avery was born on St. Patrick's Day. I mean, you really can't get a luckier birthday if you tried. And for the first little while, everything went very, very smoothly. At my 3-week baby well check, they mentioned that she hadn't been gaining weight as fast as they would have liked. We learned words like CHF, congestive heart failure, CHD, congenital heart disease, and Al-Kappa, which is what Avery's diagnosis is, which is anomalous left coronary artery from the pulmonary artery. It has a 90% mortality rate if they're not diagnosed in the first couple months. And here Avery was 2.5 years old. No doctor could believe she was alive. Her heart literally went like this, didn't squeeze, it twitched. Avery's surgery went very smoothly. I think more smoothly than they anticipated. I spent the next 4 days sleeping by her side. I said, "It's okay, baby, it's okay, mommy's here."
She's laughing and she's playing and doing all the normal stuff, and she's a super funny kid, and so she's always joking around and having a good time, and that's when you know that she's doing really well. And thankfully, you know, that's how she's been for a good 5 years now.
I thought it slowed me down, but I believe now that I can do whatever I want no matter how many surgeries I've had. I wouldn't be the same person without those scars.
To be able to have the technology and the equipment and the expertise to do the magic that they do is so important to me as a dad. I mean, it's the reason why my baby's alive.
They change lives. They save lives.
Even if I could change the fact that my heart was different, I probably wouldn't. I feel that I would never change the pathway that I've been through, and that all the curves were just right.
My buddy Matt Levitan is back. Thank you for yesterday, by the way. You were fantastic on EP Live.
I'm waiting to be full-time, no? Was that not good
Sure.
enough? Can I?
No, you're good. You're good. You can just live here in the cafe, and then we'll roll you out with the set.
I can't afford Vancouver rent, so I'm going to have to live here in the cafe somewhere. Yeah, just under the stage.
So Extra Life is an organization that you've been working with for a little while. Tell us why this was an important partnership for your company.
Yes, it's so I started my own kind of little ad agency, consulting firm, whatever you want to call it, and I was fortunate enough to work with the Extra Life folks this year. An amazing charity. I think we were talking a little bit yesterday about the fact that, you know, we both are dads.
Yep.
We both have kids, and we both recognize the importance of supporting, you know, hospitals like BC Children's, which, you know, there's so many kids that need that kind of pediatric care, right?
Yes.
So yes, it's a client, and they've been fantastic, but it's also doing the charity work that I love to do. So it's the best of both worlds.
And they love video games over there.
and it's video game related, so it's a match made in heaven. Yeah, that's great. I get to give back, but also work in the industry I love.
You worked with PlayStation for many years, and I'm sure that as part of you were one of the people, the figureheads at the company that was dealing with outreach, and you must have had so many cold calls to help out on different things. Did you participate in a lot of charity kind of events and streams and things like that in the past?
We did a lot, actually. So our head office is located in Toronto, and we did a lot of work with Camp Uchigaeus. So Camp Uch is in Muskoka, all dedicated to kids that are battling various cancers. They had radiation oncologists on site. They had an incredible, they had tools and things and all kinds of different stuff to take care of the kids, but also to give them the camp experience. So yes, they're receiving treatment, but they're also in the outdoors. They're with like-minded friends that are also in the same circumstances circumstance, and the families, the support that it gave to the families as well was amazing. So we did a lot of stuff with Camp Booch. And we also started another really fun initiative called PS Heroes, which was more US based, but it gave to 3 or 4 different charities and raised a couple $1 million over the course of a few years. So very cause related at PlayStation. We really took that seriously.
Yeah, and I remember there were also like you could keep your PlayStation, I think a PlayStation 3 on, and it was doing all kinds of research and stuff.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cell processor was just constantly doing mathematical equations in the background or something. I'm not sure who that benefited, but it was a great PR message.
Well, it was a good PR message. But I think that there is this awareness at the video game corporate level that your products matter to a lot of people. Have you seen firsthand how much video games can impact positively a person's life, maybe if they're going through some tough things?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Scott's podcast. I think Heavily Pixelated Scott Jones.
Yeah.
What's up? It's really important because I think everyone goes through a variety of things, whether it's, full-scale depression or anxiety about things, and gaming really helps you really deal with those things, right?
Yeah.
And I just moving and not having friends in a new city and things like that, and I can just bury myself in Destiny. At least that's what I tell my wife, is that that's why I'm doing it, honey. I need to process some stuff. I got to get through some issues.
I got to process.
So I have to play 6 to 8 hours of Destiny 2 a day. But it does help, and you know what? That form of escapism, that's what I've always loved about gaming too, is that you dive into that new world, right? You become a character, you leave your life, and you get to be something that you can otherwise can't be, and that's a great thing.
That's awesome. Well, Extra Life here and on this stream is helping the BC Children's Hospital, because Electric Playground is based in Vancouver, BC. And you can donate, by the way, by going to extra-life.org/EPLive, and we appreciate every dollar that you can give to help out the sick kids out there. It's very, very kind, and thank you very much for that. But Extra Life clearly is an international brand, and there's stuff going on all over North America today.
Yes,
what is going on with Extra Life everywhere?
November 2nd, today is the actual game day marathon. So today is the day.
Yeah.
And because we turn our clocks back tomorrow,
Yeah.
You get a bonus hour.
It's usually 24 hours.
It's 25 hours of a gaming marathon today. So get that extra caffeine in you, because you got an extra hour to go.
Have you been fielding, tweets and emails from different, online streamers and personalities all day?
I have, yeah. And it's super busy, and I know a ton of people, both friends and family and journalists that I've worked with in my past, that are all doing their marathon today, and they're all collecting money, and it's great. But I will say, you don't have to do your marathon today. I'm sitting here with you, so I'm unfortunately not in front of my TV playing video games.
Right.
But I will be next week. So if you are new to Extra Life and you want to sign up today, you can do your marathon next weekend, next month, whenever. It is a year-long charity. It's just that it culminates in today's gaming marathon, but you can do it any day you want.
And why is that important? Why was this a significant thing? Is it just a way to celebrate the organization?
Yeah, I think without one coming together moment
Yeah.
that everybody can kind of set their clocks by, it's difficult to just kind of fundraise throughout the year. And I even noticed this just from a corporate partnership side. When you're trying to get companies to be involved with Extra Life, they need a goal. They need a finish line, something that they can go, we're gonna set our sights on this.
Right.
If it's just a moving target throughout the whole 365 days of the year, it's really difficult sometimes to get people to just give them that little push further. But
Awesome.
so November 2nd, today's the day. So gamers across North America will be buried away in their various living rooms playing something right now.
We are super appreciative that you're here with EP Live, but you feel free to give out some shout outs for any other streams or any, because we're running till about 2 today.
Yeah.
We're not doing the full 24 hours because I like living. And I don't think I could sit. And I
didn't even ask you. I was like, that's going to be hard for you to do 24 straight hours.
I could not talk for 24 straight hours.
You know who I'd like to give a shout out to, actually? I know they're probably not even watching this. There is an Extra Life Kelowna chapter.
Oh, great.
Yeah, my hometown where I live now. So there is an Extra Life Kelowna. They are doing a 25-hour, I believe they're doing board games. And so I promise, my pledge to you guys is, because I live there, I'll help you out next year. We'll definitely up the ante in terms of the money that gets raised. But they're doing a fantastic job for the team that they have. So
that's cool.
Way to go, Kelowna.
So it doesn't even just have to be video games. People are doing some other kinds of ways in, and they're putting cameras on that activity. And
people are playing D&D. They're doing all kinds of wacky stuff.
So
cool.
It's
it's pop culture. I mean, it's gaming certainly first and foremost, but people are doing all kinds of great stuff today, and it really it's all going to the kids' hospital. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, if you want to support through EP Live. It's extra.life.org/EP Live. You were at E3 this year. We got some great FaceTime and had a good conversation. But you were also representing Extra Life, and I'm wondering how that was with the other video game companies when you were walking around talking to everybody.
Yeah, I had to wear a lot of hats at E3 this year.
Yeah.
I used to I'd park myself in the PlayStation booth and just do like 25 interviews a day for 3 straight days until I had the migraine of all migraines. But so now I get a chance to walk around the show and actually see stuff and play games. And yes, there are some folks that are missing, and that's kind of a bit strange. The show's changed quite a bit, but it is nice to see it from a different vantage point, to actually get a chance to actually see what people's booths look like other than my own.
Yep.
And yeah, part of what I was doing was knocking on doors and saying, hey, I'm here on behalf of Extra Life, and we'd love to create a partnership for you. And I mean, everybody gets the community that's built in and around gaming and how important it is for us to really stand up and protect causes that are important to us. So it was universally accepted. I mean, everybody really was great this year.
Yeah, I've seen the Extra Life booth at E3 for many, many years, and I've been aware of the organization for many years. But this is, it's a real treat to be participating this year and to be a part of all of this.
We got you. We got you finally. You know, the good thing about this is once we get you the first year, you're coming back next year.
I'm in the family.
Yeah, you're in the family. So get ready for years 2 through 20 or however many we do this. How long are you going to keep doing this, by the way? What are you, like 36?
I'm 36.
Yeah, 25?
Yeah, we'll keep going for a long time.
Keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going for a long time. The hashtag is play forever, so I think I'm locked in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
all right. Well, I'll be right there, right by your side.
I have no choice.
Just we'll be in wheelchairs. We'll just call everybody Ben Silverman. They'll all come out of retirement. Come on and play video games with us.
That would be an interesting E3 shoot, actually. All of us roll up in our walkers and wheelchairs.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Except for Foobs, who's in great shape.
Yeah,
the rest of us are all falling apart. But yeah.
Man, Foobs will be carrying all the gear again. Because he's the only one that can lift anything. Oh, what an image you paint, Matt Levitan. That is awesome. All right.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to speak with Hans, who has directly benefited from all of the fine work at Extra Life, but right after this.
Extra Life was born. It just occurred to me that gamers should be able to do the things they love to help sick and injured kids as well. And so the funds that Extra Lifers raise can go to a variety of purposes in the local area at the local hospital.
So maybe your extra $20 or your extra $50 goes to curing 87% of children with leukemia.
62 kids like me enter a children's hospital every minute.
And I was one of those kids. You could save their life too.
Play games, heal kids.
My buddy Hans is here with me. How are you doing, pal?
Good.
Good to see you. You got to hold the mic up nice and high, okay? Right up to there, but I want to shake your hand here. There we go. Good to see you, my friend. You are a gamer, and you represented by wearing a Pokemon shirt. Who's your favorite Pokemon? Very important question.
Decidueye from Generation 7.
Holy crap. I'm lost. I don't even know where that's from. Generation 7, Decidueye is what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Is he going to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Most likely not.
And why not? Why are they not doing that?
Because they've gotten rid of like half of them, so.
They just arbitrarily got rid of half of them in the new Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Well, they got rid of most of them. We're assuming like half, or at least I am.
Yes. Is that what all the scuttlebutt is in the Pokemon fan pages and things?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why, okay, I guess because they had to rebuild build a whole new engine and a whole new way to play Pokemon.
Yeah.
So you're okay with that?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. We were talking before we were rolling today. You've been a gamer for how long?
Probably like since I was like 3. That's like my oldest memory of gaming.
When you were a little kid?
Yeah.
Okay. And now you have some favorite games, but one of them is really, really old.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like the retro Kirby.
The retro Kirby and the Super Nintendo Kirby?
Yeah.
That's right. What was that, Kirby Superstar?
I think so. I believe so.
Yeah, it's on the Super Nintendo collection on the Switch, right?
Yep.
Now, you weren't born when that came out. How did you even discover this Kirby retro game?
I got Nintendo Switch Online, and it came with a couple free games from the old stuff.
Yep.
And then they introduced the NES class, or the SNES.
The SNES Classic, and then your life changed, as it should. What is it about those old retro games that appeals to you?
Cause it's like a different thing, like before I was around, and like it's kind of like research for like the past to like the future.
Oh, that is fantastic. You sound like someone that's going to make games. Is that a dream?
Slightly, yeah.
Yeah? You know, Will Ho is here from Electronic Arts. You could get a job with that guy right there. Yeah. What I mean, you discovered, because they just put the Switch or the SNES stuff on the Switch recently. So what were you playing? What are some of the other titles that you've been enjoying?
Before I was like playing like Super Smash Bros.
Oh, cool. You've been playing a lot of Switch. Is that your favorite system right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the PlayStation 4.
And the PlayStation 4. You have them all, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in addition to games like Pokemon and Kirby, don't think this guy's just into the cute stuff. You also love Fallout.
Yeah.
Your parents let you play Fallout. You have very cool parents. What do? Do they do a lot of beep, beep, and stand in front of the screen when the mutants are getting
Not
blown?
really. My
No?
dad just sits and watches it all.
Oh, he sits and watches and says, don't watch that, that's very violent?
No, he just lets me watch.
He plays with you?
Yeah.
Yes, very cool. Do you have memories of your parents playing games with you and reading some of the stories and sort of taking you into these worlds?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your earliest video game memory, do you think?
Like probably like the Lego games on the PlayStation 2.
Nice. That's awesome. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and I play games with her, and it's one of my favorite things in the world, to play video games with my kid. It's so cool. And it must be fun from the kid's perspective. Now, I bet you're better than your dad, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Does your dad play Smash with you?
No.
No?
He's not into like Nintendo stuff.
Okay. He's the one that said Fallout would be good for my son.
Yeah.
You got to go to the parenting class that your dad is going to be teaching pretty soon, right? What did you like about Fallout?
Probably like the RPG, because I like story games.
Yeah, that's cool. So how have games? You've gone through some stuff at BC Children's Hospital, right? Like, what were you going through at the hospital, and
Like,
how did games help you?
Surgery, and like after my surgery, I was playing this game called Skylanders.
Yeah.
For my Wii U.
Yeah.
And it like kept me calm, and I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Did you make a lot of friends through video games while you were in the hospital?
No.
No, you just were able to kind of deal with it by the escapism like Matt was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And what about at school? You guys got a bunch of friends that are all into video games at school too?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what grade are you in right now?
6.
You're in grade 6, okay. Are you starting to think about some of the dreams that you have? Is game development something that you're thinking about? Maybe you'll do that one day?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's cool. What kind of a game would you like to make?
Probably like an RPG.
An RPG? Like a Fallout type game?
Yeah.
Very cool. But I have another list of games that you like here, and I want to go through some of them, and I want you to tell me. Okay, so we've covered Pokemon, and we've covered Kirby. You've got Zelda on there, but Zelda's, it's a blank slate. There's a lot of different Zelda games. Which Zelda game is your favorite?
The newest one, the Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite game of all time. Tell me why you like that game.
It's open world, and like my first Zelda game I ever played. So.
It's your first one?
Yeah.
Oh wow, now you're spoiled. Are you able to go back and play the Super Nintendo Zelda game and still find fun there?
Yeah. It's fun.
Because it's research for your inevitable game that you're going to make. Maybe in high school. Maybe you'll start programming in high school. Do you actually work on a computer at all? Do you do any coding or anything like that right now?
No, I'm like probably gonna like something to help me code and learn how to code.
Nice, awesome. Is that true, Dad? Is that happening? He's going to do some coding. Yeah, very cool. That's great. Uncharted is also one of your favorites.
Yeah.
What about? I guess it's the story stuff,
yeah,
right?
The story.
You don't play a lot of the multiplayer online stuff.
No, I'm not really a huge fan of like the online games.
You like to get lost in the worlds and the environments and all that stuff. Yeah, Zelda's the perfect thing for that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Are you hoping that the new Pokemon achieves some of that kind of expansiveness and yeah? Would you be cool with Pokemon, but they're just in the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild universe, and Link's got to go find them all?
That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, there you go. That could be the game that you make. And then you also like the quirky games like Undertale as well. Again, the story. Mm-hmm. And do you play them with your dad or your mom or just
me?
Just you? And you just read all that stuff and you kind of connect to the storytelling abilities of the game makers, and that impresses you.
Yep.
That's so cool, man. That is awesome. And you've got all the consoles. So you're good. You are set, man. And Does your mom, Christine, does she play with you at all, or is it
Yeah,
just
like Minecraft and
Minecraft?
like the PG games.
The PG games. Oh yeah, Mom doesn't like the swearing and Fallout. She's good with the mutants blowing up and the heads exploding in slow-mo, but no swearing, please. That's cool. That is awesome, man. So you were born with a very rare heart defect. You had your right ventricle was too small, and you didn't have enough blood that was being pumped into your lungs. And you had to have some cardiac procedures when you were incredibly young, in the first 4 days of your life. But you found, obviously through the support and the love that your parents give you, and through an organization like the BC Children's Hospital, and also your own imagination, you found all the support that you need to have an incredible life. That's awesome. And video games are a big part of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you going to do more, meetings and conversations with people about your history with games and working with Extra Life and being at BC Children's Hospital?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, Hans, it's an incredible experience to meet you. You're an inspiration, and I want you to make that game, okay?
Okay.
Or come back and be a co-host, because we'll be hiring soon. Thank you, sir. That was great. Thank you. All right, we've got Steve Rechtschaffner up on deck, so please stick around for that. And in the meantime, if you would like to support Extra Life through EP Live, go to extra.life.org/EP Live, and you could donate there. If the website's giving you any trouble, just hit that refresh button, and we'll be right back with Steve Rechtschaffner.
Extra Life was born. It just occurred to me that gamers should be able to do the things they love to help sick and injured kids as well. And so the funds that Extra Lifers raise can go to a variety of purposes in the local area at the local hospital.
So maybe your extra $20 or your extra $50 goes to curing 87% of children with leukemia.
62 kids like me enter a children's hospital every minute.
And I was one of those kids. You could save their life too.
Play games, heal kids.
My friend Steve Rechtschaffner has just joined us. It's good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Victor.
How are you?
Tip top.
Fantastic, fantastic. For those that don't know, Steve Rechtschaffner had a long career with Electronic Arts and worked on incredible games like NBA Street and FIFA for a while as well.
Yeah, that's where I started.
But my heart fills up with the idea that you were a big part of getting Ssx out to all of us.
Oh, yeah, that's my baby, my pride and joy.
Yeah, and that was a game that you went to EA management with the concept and said, this is a game that I think would do very well. How did that come together?
Well, it evolved a lot over the years.
Yeah.
So when I first met Don Matrick back in 1994, I'd never made a video game.
Yeah.
And I hunted him down and sought him out. And I said, because I had actually invented the sport of border cross in the real world, head-to-head snowboard racing. And I went to him and I said, I really want to make video games. And I said, this is kind of one of the ones I think would be cool. Now, what I imagined then wasn't what Ssx turned out to be.
Yeah.
What I didn't know was that I had this massive penchant for making arcadey, over-the-top, colorful, fun-sounding, larger-than-life experiences. In the beginning, I thought, let's just recreate the sport and go from there. But I just have this pop sensibility I can't repress.
That's awesome. So did it start with building like a pretty accurate recreation of border cross, and then you added the embellishments and the color and the personalities? Or?
Yeah. It took about a year with a small team to just create the physics of snowboarding, the interaction with the snow surfaces.
Yep.
And we were building it for a platform that didn't exist yet.
Right.
So we were targeting the PlayStation 2, but we had no development systems. We were guessing. So we had modified PCs and hooked controllers into those. And the early team, there was a guy called Yon Spencer who spent a lot of time trying to figure out how do you make the board interact with snow.
Right.
And not just snow, but I think we, in the beginning, had about 12 different snow surfaces.
Right.
So we got to there, and then we thought, that's kind of boring. What do we do now?
and a lot of people, and this isn't to disparage other snowboarding games that are a little bit more, accurate simulations, because there have been some fun games that way. But a lot of people would just stop at that and say, we've got a sim. But you guys collectively said, no, we have to amp this up?
Well, I think it all comes down to who you're making the game for.
Okay, yeah.
A simulation of any sport has a different audience than an arcadey, over-the-top action game.
Right.
And, one is, I think of arcade action games as kind of like pop music.
Right, right.
And, when you see a great game like Rocket League that's purely arcade action, that transcends, or at least has the ability to transcend all genres.
Yeah.
And like a good pop song, like, I do not want to like Uptown Funk.
Yeah.
I really don't want to like that song. But if that song comes on, I love that song.
Yeah.
And I can't help it.
It's been almost scientifically engineered to get you to shake your butt, that song.
I'm not sure I would say scientifically engineered.
Yeah.
I would say it's emotionally engineered by some people who are really skillful at figuring out what gets people involved.
Right, right, right.
And I think that's what a great action arcade title is. I mean, Nintendo's done it well for a long time.
Yep.
And for us, when we were making Ssx, we looked a lot more at Nintendo games than we did the EA Sports games that we already had built.
When did you kind of click into the fact that Ssx was going to work? When did that start to kind of become a reality for you guys?
Wow. We went through an early period where we struggled, and it was actually when myself and one of the designers sat down with a concept artist, and we just drew out 7 or 8 moments in the game, because we didn't have those yet. And one of them was this back and forth over a little canyon. So you'd go around a bank turn, you'd have to jump over the canyon, go around a bank turn, jump over the canyon. And as we started to see those, we realized the discovery of shortcuts, the idea of seeing a line and going, could I launch off the back of that? Like, does that work? And then we actually made a video using all of our assets, our characters we had designed, all those things, but it wasn't interactive. It was just, here's what a minute of gameplay would look like.
Right.
And I can remember the times when people on the team were saying, well, that's kind of a waste of time. We're going to have to throw all that away. But what it did was it got everybody on the same page creatively.
Now, everybody does that. Every team puts a video montage.
Yeah, we were the first at EA to do that kind of pre-visualization.
Wow.
And, we did lots of things that at the time people went, why are you doing that? And, of course, I only remember the ones that work.
Yeah.
There was lots that didn't work. But you have to, if you want to create anything special, you have to take chances. You have to be completely comfortable with the fact that your ideas may fail.
Right.
But it's the agility and the resilience, and that's what makes a great team, is that underlying confidence. It's like, I just watched Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
And, watching the Nationals, they were down, but you could look at that dugout, and they had every bit of confidence they were going to figure out how to come back.
Right.
And that's what a great game team is.
Yeah. Was there ever a chance that Ssx would have been canceled? Did you guys ever close to that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a few of my bosses tell me that I should cancel it.
Oh, my God.
I had one and somebody who I still greatly respect and has been a mentor for a long time to me, but I think his phrase was, this is feeling like a bit of a personal indulgence. I think you should probably wrap it up. But back then at EA, creativity and innovation were really supported in a way where, so because I had worked early on FIFA and I had made some titles there that did well, I was given the opportunity to create a baseball business because EA didn't have one.
Right.
And so
that was Triple Play.
Yeah, that was Triple Play. And the idea was, if you made a success, then you had the ability to go try something new.
Right.
And people could critique it and challenge it, but you could see it through.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work, well, you lost that ability.
Yeah.
But luckily, I had a good run, so Triple Play came out of FIFA, Ssx came out of being able to do Triple Play.
Right. Fantastic. Now Ssx did work, and it was an incredibly important launch title for the Sony PlayStation 2. You had a relationship with Sony that was fostered by what they saw in Ssx, right?
Yeah, early on, even before we got it onto the dev kits, we showed it to them. And actually, Phil Harrison, who's running the Stadia program now, was the guy we showed it to, and he loved it because it was really maybe the first game that looked different than anything else that was coming out on that platform.
Right.
And so he was very supportive. We got a lot of dev kits early on. We had some engineers that we were able to send to Tokyo to work with some of the platform team. And we launched the game in Japan because PlayStation 2 launched in Japan before here. And our goal was always to build a Nintendo quality experience.
Right.
And I believe I probably am getting the publication wrong because that's back in the days when there was magazines and not websites.
Yeah.
I think we got a gold rating, and I think it was the first time maybe a Western game had gotten a gold rating from Super Famitsu.
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
So that was, that was a high accolade for us.
Well, especially in the, like 1080 snowboarding on the N64 was a pretty damn incredible game. Right?
Oh.
And so
I played the hell out of that.
That was so much fun.
I loved
it.
it.
To kind of just completely outshine a Nintendo first-party game like that, that must have just felt amazing for you guys.
Yeah, the greatest thing was when we'd read the reviews early on or get letters. Back then, people used to send letters.
Yeah.
You get mail from people with character drawings, and often they would start out by saying, I never thought I would find myself playing a snowboard game.
Yeah.
More times than I can recollect, that was the opening line, which was great because that was our thing. It was themed in snowboarding. It felt through the controls, which are at the core of all of it, like you were snowboarding. So when you did something amazing in the game, you really believed you were doing it.
Yeah.
But it was larger than life. And, well, I should say at the time. You go watch the X Games now, you watch the Red Bull events now. I can't say it was larger than today's life.
Yeah. Do you think that you had an inspiration on the real events out there? I mean, you created a video game interpretation of Border Cross, but then it does feel like, like people played Ssx and said, well, we could do some of that action.
Well, I don't know if it was that. I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody.
Okay.
We had a time machine.
Oh, okay.
And we traveled, actually, to 2023.
Okay.
So you haven't even seen it yet.
It's coming.
It's you know what? This stuff is out there in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And all that we did was we unshackled the creativity of our team, and we said, look, imagine as we're building these courses, we have no budget.
Yeah.
We can spend whatever we want to tow an iceberg into the bay in Hawaii. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll write the check. And we also said, look, we're going to ask our characters to do amazing things. So don't worry, you can't kill them.
Yeah.
They're resilient. So once you take away barriers, people come up. But it had to be plausible, which is a weird fine line, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you feel like you're one of those humans in this game, but you're superhuman and the abilities that you have, which I think is part of the role that video games have. We're supposed to not just feel a recreation of reality, we're supposed to feel a little bit better.
That is, for me, what they are. And I did spend years after making those games. I was in a global creative director role at EA, and I worked with Nexon, and I worked with Microsoft. And I can help others to make better games, but my passion and where I think I can help make things special is exactly what you just described. It's that larger than life. It is, as I've told you, we are now in the early stages of building a new game service. And at the core of it, it is that promise of doing amazing things in extraordinary places. And it's not about, I'm prone to so many music metaphors. It's not about seeing an acoustic folk singer one-on-one in a small venue. It's about the big experience. The spectacle. Actually, one of the people on our team keeps throwing the word spectacle at me.
Sure.
And it's the word. It is a spectacle, but a relatable spectacle.
I'm imagining the fireworks of Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man 2 going off with all the robots all around him. That kind of level of spectacle. That's kind of what it felt like in Ssx.
I'm a sucker for spectacle. I admit it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, this is Steve Rechtschaffner, and he is the man that brought the idea for Ssx to Electronic Arts. And Ssx, of course, one of the best action sports games ever made. It's near and dear in my heart. We're doing this today, and Steve is joining us today because we are supporting Extra Life. And if you want to be a participant in that and help out the Extra Life organization as it helps out the BC Children's Hospital, we would love it if you do. You go to extra-life.org/EPLive, and if you can donate to them and to the cause and to help sick kids, that would be incredible. I have a favorite Ssx game, and it's Ssx 3, and I wonder if you share that, or do you have a different perspective on it?
Well, yeah, that would be my favorite.
Yeah.
I've gone back in the last few months and played them all.
Yeah.
And I've now spent by far the most time on Ssx 3.
Yeah.
Peak 2 of Ssx 3 to be specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love the spectacle of Tricky.
Yeah.
And then the crazy courses, the Tokyo Megaplex and the Iceberg and the Aloha Ice Jump. I love all that. We lost a little bit of that, but the whole sense that this big giant set of 3 peaks exists. And I think the fact when you actually have a top to bottom race, people were startled that you could actually do that.
It was like a Grand Theft Auto on a snowboard type of experience. It just kept streaming and streaming, and it was incredible.
There are so many fun moments, and it was so cool because it got re-released last year, or actually maybe earlier this year on Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
And I was where Tricky feels dated, and the original Ssx feels very dated.
Yeah.
Ssx 3, not so much.
And it's a 16-year-old game. Actually, you guys are finishing it up in 2000.
16.
It came out 2004, 2003,
Wow.
2004. So yeah, it's at least 16 years old.
That's incredible.
And it does still completely.
What year
hold
is
up.
this?
It's still 2019. You referenced 2023, which I think was a
that
sly hint is when your new thing is coming out, or maybe sooner.
That was purely subconscious.
Okay. I'm just going to check here the chat to see if anybody's got any questions for Steve Rechtschaffner, which is your cue if you do have any. Help me out, though, by making it all caps so I can see it a little bit better.
And thank you for inviting me to be part of this today. This is an amazing cause, and I was really honored to have the opportunity and just come here and be part of this today.
It's been a real treat to have you back on EP a few times, and I think it's fantastic that you helped to build some incredible games for this industry, but you're still fired up and you've got some other things cooking, and I want to ask you about that, but I don't know, are you able to talk about what's coming up? Or?
I can tell you a little bit about it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, since we last talked, we have brought together a core team of some very special and talented people.
Yep.
And our goal is we are going to start prototyping in the new year, various elements of it. And we really are passionate about bringing arcade action sports into the world of game services.
Right.
Because in 2006, after I'd left EA, I had a dream about building a game that at that time I called The Island. And it was an island that was kind of like action sports meets Disneyland. And it wasn't possible to build that game at that time.
Right.
Because we had 7 different things you could really do as activities.
Yes.
And I know how hard it is just to make one activity great.
Right.
It's not terribly hard to make a mediocre.
Yeah.
But we couldn't see. I mean, it would have taken.
You don't want the guy that brought Ssx to EA to make a mediocre game. You want it to be at that level.
It's so hard to make a game.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend all that time.
Yes.
Try and do something awesome.
Do it right. Yeah.
So we the people I would talk to at the time was like, it's too much. It would take 5 years to build.
Right.
At that point, hundreds of millions of dollars, and it didn't make sense. But now with game services, we can start by introducing an activity, a series of locations, and grow it over time, and have a persistent world that people can hang out in and F around, as we like to say.
Wonderful. When I was playing Ssx, and I love Moby, he was my favorite. I think it was Matt was the voice of Moby, right?
Nick Milliparian.
Oh, Nick, right, yes, yeah, right.
Yeah,
I get him mixed up with Matt
my
Thomas.
God, we would be in so much cultural appropriation.
Yes, totally.
I mean, it was.
And Nick was he was the British guy at EA, right? So
he was our marketing manager.
Yeah, and he was on marketing, and he did the VO. But he was great. I loved the Moby character.
Oh my God,
awesome.
yeah. Well, it's funny because some of the characters were voiced by people like Mac, who was a central character.
Yeah.
was the son of Warren Wall, our original development director.
Okay.
Yet other characters, we brought in people like David Arquette, who voiced Eddie.
Right.
And some really funny ones. Bodhi was voiced by, oh my God, what's that guy? He's in Zoolander. Anyway.
Owen Wilson?
No, he's got a small part. Anyway, it'll come back to me. But we had some really. Luther was we had great actors doing it, and we had people that were part of the team. And
well, it came off very authentic, and what I thought when I got to know those characters is, why can't you just keep using these characters in lots of other games? I think you had that same idea.
I had even though I was tasked as the, quote, godfather of EA Sports Big, because we created that brand with the launch of the original SSX, and then Street 2, and but other people who had, more influence and power than I did got to make the decision. So I wanted to have them appear in different games.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure the games were all at a super high 90+ rated quality level.
Yep.
And I also only wanted to bring out new versions about every 3 years.
Yeah.
Again, borrowing from the Nintendo playbook.
Right, yes.
I didn't see either necessity to try and bring it out every year, nor did I think we had the ability to make enough significant improvement and bring new fun to it, where the users would be excited versus skeptical.
Do you see a correlation when you take 3 years to build a game? Do you sell 3 times as many copies of that game because you've taken the time? Or, when you're talking about marketing people and accountants and stuff, would they rather take 1/3 but have a consistent sort of influx of cash? That's the tough thing, I guess.
Well, it's different once you're on the sequel cycle.
Yeah.
That's a different beast.
Yeah.
To have something new that hopefully starts that cycle. And nowadays, it isn't even the sequel cycle anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even think we'll have the word sequel in 5 years.
Right.
It's all going to be about ongoing live services.
Yes.
New seasons, new releases. And we're already halfway there.
I tried to get Will to comment on that for NHL, but it's too soon on that one.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've had lots of productive conversations with folks at EA, folks at Microsoft, folks at Google.
Yeah.
You can't ignore the success of something like Apex Legends.
Yeah.
And what's so cool is we're starting to see these mobile behaviors migrating to platforms like console and PC.
Right.
And I think the more you can lower the barrier to entry, whether it's having a game that you can click on and play instantly, or you don't have to spend $70, or you don't have to, you don't have to in your mind. And that's what we want to build. We don't want people to think, oh, I got to commit at least 50 hours to this.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, that looks fun. I'm going to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And
hopefully load it instantly, and you've jumped in. Are we moving into a period where microtransactions are still the way that everything like that gets monetized, or is it going to be based on time spent, as Netflix sort of monetizes? Where
I think it's going to be a variety of things. Seeing early on what some of these new subscription models are doing in terms of, rather than licensing up front like an HBO used to do, they're trying to do things well. This amount of time got played, you'll get this amount of money back.
Right.
I don't know that it's enough to justify entirely building a game for that, but if it's one of many ways you show up,
right,
I think in the aggregate, it can help make it make sense. But microtransactions, I think, are awesome if you're not asking somebody to pay a whole bunch of money up front.
Yeah.
So either make it really inexpensive or free to get in. And then if you want to have things, now again, things we want to build, we want people to compete at.
Yeah.
And ultimately think of them as esports.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to have a somewhat fair playing field to play on.
Right.
So you can earn, you can buy, but it has to be within a range that keeps things close.
Yeah, and pretty much about the character customization and stuff, right?
And you know what, for us, how many years ago did you say SSX 3 was?
I think 16, 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you say, 13, 10 years
ago. Babies, Steve.
Oh my God. But back then, self-expression was at the heart of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Our ability to do that was limited through character choice.
Yep.
But even in game, when the characters yell at each other and have existing relationships where they like each other or don't like each other and behave that way, that was for us an early attempt at self-expression, as were the camera systems that in replays really showed the thing off, because we think there's a huge opportunity for the streamers and influencers to come into our worlds and what we'll be building in the future and trying to be the ones finding the new lines, the new shortcuts.
I want that game. I can't wait to see
Oh,
what you guys are.
You'll be seeing it before anyone.
Awesome. Got a question here from Nintendo Boy 17, and I don't know if this is something that you worked on or not, but did Steve find it weird to have Mario in the GameCube version of On Tour, the version that I have? And did Nintendo want Mario in SSX in response to Link in Namco's Soul Calibur 2?
I can answer the first part. I can't answer the second part.
Okay, yeah.
So the last game I made was SSX 3.
Okay.
I went on to other responsibilities. I was not a believer in trying to sequel this thing on a short basis. So the fellows that took over, their approach was more of a feature-based approach.
Right.
How do we add extra features? How do we add fun stuff? And one of them was even more than me, like a Miyamoto fanboy.
Right, yeah.
And that was a fantastical thing. I thought it was an interesting choice, not one I would have made.
Yeah.
But I think lots of people thought it was funny and liked it, so you know, that's
There's
the cool part. You never know how this stuff will turn out.
And there's a fan base for that game, clearly, right? That was their entry in. You know?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Mario Kart as an action arcade competitive game has been one of my favorites for decades.
Yes.
So I think it's cool in its own weird way.
That's awesome. Charlie Ward, I think you're asking about Mario and GameCube. Yeah, okay. It's Nintendo Boy and Charlie Ward are the same.
We know who Nintendo Boy is now.
It locked the attitude flavor. Okay, we got a good comment from Sam I Am 111. SSX Reboot was a good game. It lacked the. Oh, this was the reboot. Did you play the reboot?
I tried it.
Any comments on the reboot?
Yeah, I do know people that liked it.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, it's all about who you're building the game for.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's a pop game. That's the games that I like to be a part of are super crafted and very curated, and there's a rhythm and a flow. And when you make something that's more simulation oriented, like I play Steep.
Yeah.
There's things about Steep that I like, but I snowboard in the real world.
Yeah.
I snowboard on terrain that looks like that.
Yes.
It's a different experience.
Yeah.
Where ours were very curated, very rhythmic, very specific flow, and the new one didn't have that.
Yeah.
So for me, as to what the brand was and what the promise was, but I think it's long gotten away from what we created with 3 and Tricky in the original.
Could you go back to that, do you think? Is it possible to get that vibe, that SSX vibe again that we had in the first 3 SSX games?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not about recreating, because we're not currently working with EA. We're not working, they own that intellectual property, nor would I start by trying to, reinvigorate the old brand.
Yeah.
But the values that were in place around accessibility, around, joy, around easy to pick up, hard to master. Those values are all the same.
Yeah.
Over the top production value. The values don't change. I mean, we've actually added a few values as we're in early concept exploration.
Yep.
Inclusion is a big value for us now. We see that. We see that differently. A real overt focus on self-expression, both through how you can ride, tricks you can create, things you can customize your character with, and even to the point where hopefully people are able to create more content in the world as time goes on.
Very cool.
And as well, people who create videos in real time playing the game, people that create videos in post-producing them. So similar values, and I will tell you, I mean, one thing I will say is the first experiences we will be putting out will be on snow.
Nice.
That is an absolute for sure.
That is amazing. Do we have any kind of a time frame when your new snow-based game is going to be out there?
Once there's a new president in the White House.
Okay.
I'm kidding. What a dumb thing to say.
We didn't want to get political here, but
neither did I. It's just in my mind. I thought, okay.
So next November then.
Well, I think timeline for us is we are going to be prototyping and building early experiences for probably about a year.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the earliest window would be about 24 to 28 months from now.
Wild. Okay. Well, you heard it here probably first. Steve Rechtschaffner is working on a new action sports experience, and the first one will be in snow.
On snow.
On snow.
In snow.
Yeah.
Above snow.
Snow everywhere.
Around snow. Oh,
Steve,
yeah.
thank you for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Let's hear it for Steve Rechtschaffner, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And the reason why Steve is here, he wanted to come out and support EP Live for Extra Life. Let's take a look. That work?
I ended up at the IWK because I have spinal muscular atrophy type 2, and it's every single muscle in my body. I also have scoliosis.
Scoliosis is a side-to-side curve of the spine, and it's very common in teenagers. Van's scoliosis is a little bit different in that he had it under the age of 10.
It was very bad, to the point where it was crushing his organs. He was leaning over to the left-hand side. It was inhibiting his ability to breathe. So we knew eventually that we would have to have back surgery. We knew that there were many possible complications, one being his breathing. Because he has SMA and a very low muscle tone, they have to be very careful as to what kind of anesthesia they use. So when I found out that there was this innovative surgery called magic rods, there were very few Canadian doctors that were doing it. When I found out that there was a doctor at IWK here in Halifax, it was amazing.
The IWK means everything to me because when I'm super sick, they always take care of me.
All right, you guys, it's time to get a little bit bloody here in our charity stream for EP Live for Extra Life. We've got Dana Sissons here from the Coalition. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And Gears 5 has launched this year.
Yeah, it's been a big year for Gears of War.
Very, very big. Very, very big year. How did the launch go with the Game Pass? You guys must have millions and millions and millions of people playing this game.
It was the... I'm trying to remember the PR line here. I think it was the biggest first-party launch of this console generation.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's huge.
What's the fan feedback? I know the Metacritic's sitting at around a 90 or something like that.
I think we're at 86.
Okay.
You know what? People are loving the campaign.
Yeah.
We had a few hiccups with our online stuff that we're working through right now.
Who the hell doesn't? We're good with that, right? We can deal with a few hiccups.
So, yeah, but I mean, I think the one thing that I love about Gears of War is we have such a hugely passionate fan base.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I meet that have like tattoos of the Omen or Nashers, or we're huge in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like we were one of the big. Gears of War was a launch title with the Xbox 360, so it came out a year later. So the way that people feel about Halo in the in North America here is how they feel about Gears of War in Mexico. So I get to go to Mexico a lot with our esports and stuff, and I'll have grown-ass men come up to me and give me the most long, awkward embrace, and they have like a tear in their eye, and they're just like, "Thank you," and I'm like, I didn't do a lot, but thank you. So Gears it's an iconic gaming franchise.
Yeah, it really is. Are the team members at the Coalition, like everybody's heads down working on this?
Yep.
Do people have time to like stick their heads up and kind of breathe that in and accept that and celebrate that a bit, that it matters to so many people?
We do, and I think, I mean, right now everybody's, we've had, upwards of 500 people were responsible for getting Gears 5 out the door.
Right,
So it was a huge undertaking, and everybody played a critical and important role.
Yep.
I think people they see it and they're working, and then you see the trailers on TV, or you see this, and we get to me and Rod and other people, we get the fortune of going to events,
right,
and meeting people firsthand.
You guys are like the ambassadors,
for
the whole team.
Which is great, but we come back and we try to share that with with the studio, and people get into it. They love it. Like they know what Gears means to people.
Yeah, that's so.
And they're all fans. Like I've worked for, as you know, I've been in gaming for a while.
Yeah.
And
everybody has come from EA in one fashion or another. Yes.
I know we were actually just talking about how the first time I met you was when I helped launch Xbox Live.
Right on, yeah.
Way like in Mech Assault and like on the original Xbox.
Oh, that's wild.
And then I ended up at EA. So but studios that I've been at, people don't play the game at all other studios as much as and at the Coalition, like people love Gears and they play Gears.
Is that a way that you guys kind of recruit as well? Is that the message that does it help? Let's say if people want to work on Gears, that they also play it and know it very well.
I mean, I think regardless of what studio you're going to work for, playing the game is always a good thing.
Yeah.
For us, it's not a requirement.
Yeah.
I think if you're, anyone that's a passionate Gears fan is especially depending on the team you're on.
Yeah.
If you're on the narrative team, it probably helps that you know the franchise.
Yeah.
If you're, maybe a software engineer,
okay.
it helps as well. But so I think it's not a requirement, but it's certainly something that we obviously like.
As a fan, as somebody that's been with Gears as a player the whole way through, we've really seen this, kind of action, survival horror type of experience evolve into like a family tale.
Yeah, it started off as, I think family as an idea was always really central to Gears. And I think, you look at Gears at a very high level, like the original Gears, and it had that sort of dude bro sort of description about it.
Yeah.
But the story was so captivating and resonating. Like, people talk about the Dom and Maria scene.
Yeah.
People talk about the Dom scene.
Yeah.
All of those things, and it means something to them.
Yes.
Like, people take a second and they're playing those things and they have to go away. So that idea of family has always been there.
Yeah.
And that brothers to the end and all of that was such a core aspect of Gears.
Yeah.
And when we look at with what we did with Gears 5 and that idea of family sort of came up again, and you've got Marcus and his son, and then the relationship that they have, and then Kate with her mom, and I don't want to give too many spoilers out.
Yeah.
I mean,
at
what point can we talk about the game? I don't know. Like,
well, I wanted to ask about the choice, the
Yeah.
big choice. Do you guys have stats on
we do.
Yeah.
I am not saying anything about about that.
When does that start to happen? Is that like you don't say anything until Gears 6, or because there's a formative, crazy, huge moment in Gears 5. And
Yes.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
But
I remember when we were talking about it in the development process,
Yeah.
and we were looking at early cinematics and seeing it kind of in its raw form and then coming together. And I was watching it with the team, and like people stopped and had an emotional moment.
Yeah.
We're like, geez, like that really hit. Like,
Yeah.
especially the afterwards, like when you see Marcus.
Yes.
To me, that's when it hits.
Yes.
And
especially because it's so realistic and quick.
Yeah.
And
You're not given a lot of time.
It's like
you're like,
Yeah.
like it's a panic.
Yeah, but the way that you guys put that together just felt like it was like newsreel footage almost in a way. It was so grounded. It was like, oh my god.
Well, I love it because I think afterwards so Greg Mitchell and his cinematics team just did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
Greg came from Epic. He's been with Gears from the very, very beginning, and he had a vision for how we wanted that scene to flow out. And for them, like, just the audio direction that they did with everything inside of that sort of post-choice moment is so powerful. To me, it's one of it's where games, I think, becomes really amazing, because you've got this sense of player choice and player act, like you're an active participant in the journey, and then you get to sit back and you get to watch the cinematic moment. And it's such a weird dichotomy that there's not a lot of stuff that happens like that.
Well, and that's one of the wonderful things when you have a game franchise like this, or Halo, or Grand Theft Auto, or or Uncharted, where the developers get some time to kind of grow. It's almost like a television series that gets to kind of go for season after season. And, not every episode might work, but over the course of many seasons, you get to evolve these characters and grow and experiment and test different things out. And that's what you guys have done.
And people know them. Like, you look at John DiMaggio. God, I mean, he's been I mean, I think he's already told Rod that, like, you know, he's got house payments to make. That if he's ever going to write him out of Gears, he's got to give him a big heads up. So, like,
that sounds like John. That sounds like the John I know.
You know, so we they become comfortable with it. You know, you look at like Lester with Cole and all this. I mean, I've met Carlos 100 zillion times, and he still loves being Dom, even though Dom's not around anymore. But he loves the idea of Dom.
Oh, he's around in multiplayer. He's around.
Well, yes, but in terms of not as in the narrative side.
And you know, you don't really factor that in. But how wonderful is it that you get to create indelible characters and keep them alive forever in multiplayer, right?
Well, and it's so funny because multiplayer is. I mean, I love multiplayer. It's probably my favorite way of playing video games.
Yeah.
And Gears is so weird because people are like, I want to be this character.
Yeah.
And the requests that we get of, when is Clayton coming? When is all of these things happening? And it's so weird because you're just running around shooting people in the face.
Yeah.
But like people have this moment of they want to have that like
they want that connection.
They want to live out being whomever.
Okay, well, Dana Sissons is here from the Coalition, and he is here to help out Extra Life like we all are here. Give yourself a round of applause, everybody. Everybody that's in for this right now.
Yes,
thank you for coming out. This is wonderful, and thank you for watching. There's been some issues with logging on to the extra-life.org website, so we have another URL to donate, and it's at bcchf.ca, which is BC Children's Hospital. So bcchf.ca/donate. And when you donate, make sure in the comments you write the EP Live or the Electric Playground stream so people know why you got there and why you're donating. But we appreciate all the support for you there, from you there. That's fantastic. Now, Dave Bautista is one of the playable skins.
Yes.
And he seems like he's raring to go for the movie.
Yeah.
But how many people have downloaded that and are playing as Dave Bautista right now?
You know, you run into multiplayer and you see a lot of Dave Bautistas out there. He's definitely a popular one.
We've seen a lot of Dave Bautistas in Gears since the beginning.
Yes,
obviously.
yeah. But no, yeah. I mean, Dave has definitely. He hasn't been shy about his love of the franchise and how if there's a movie and when there's a movie and you can ask, but I really don't know anything.
Yeah.
You'd have to ask Rod about that one.
Yes.
That he wants to be involved in some capacity.
Feels like he's been training his whole life to be in a Gears of War movie.
I know. And then he recruited Terry Crews to go and become Cole. Yeah. They're trying to go and do the movie casting already, so it makes me laugh.
They're doing the Nathan Fillion Uncharted.
Yeah, exactly,
thing
exactly.
The Terminator film is out this weekend.
Yep.
And
is it good? I
liked it.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Okay.
It's definitely fun, and people should see it. And you can play as Linda Hamilton.
She came in and did so GUDS, or what we call the dialogue that you use during combat.
Yeah.
So she came in and we did VO sessions with same with Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
And Mackenzie
Davis.
Mackenzie Davis,
who is insanely good in the new. She is unbelievable. The casting for her was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all three of them did, not that Dave Bautista is associated with Terminator, but they all did their GUDS. So we had them in there. So it was great, and it was funny. Linda was a little, I think, standoffish, and then she got into it, and she was having, and she saw it, and she saw her character was, and really kind of enjoyed the process.
She's so badass. That's what I'm playing as.
Yeah.
On one side I'm the Terminator, and on the other side I'm Linda Hamilton.
And I mean, there's not many women that can be. I don't know how old Linda is, but I'm guessing
she's rocking it. Doesn't matter how old
she is. Badass.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when she was ripped for T2 back in '91.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Was it 91? T2?
91.
Incredible. Yeah, and she's still ripped. She looks incredible in this movie. Same with Arnold as well. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It must be a cool partnership, right?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was great. We had a lot of cool partnerships coming out.
Yeah. I got Chips Ahoy sent to me because of Gears 5.
We got Chips Ahoy. We did
cookies to people.
I mean, the nice thing is, I got we had an 8 brand. I mean, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
We literally, one of the nice things about being such a huge gaming franchise is partners want to work with you.
Yeah.
And we like working with them because it helps solve games.
Yes.
It tells the story. It gets people out there.
We got Charlie Ward asking you to ask Epic Games to make a Jazz Jackrabbit 2 Secret Files. port?
Sure. Next time I talk to them,
Okay.
which doesn't happen often.
We got a question from Marco A. Will Gears cross over with any of the new Microsoft studios, Marcus Phoenix and Psychonauts 2?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
They're all about the crossovers and the partnerships.
I mean,
over
we have Kat and Emil in from Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Is they're multiplayer characters inside of
so
Gears
maybe
5.
a little flip of that.
That's a question for Rod. I don't know that one. I mean, I think in the end, if partnerships make sense, I think it's something that we'd always look at. For sure. But who knows?
Well, speaking of that, like I didn't really like I got the cookies and I shared them with people, but I didn't really like put all the codes and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you get? Like I know there's the cookies, and what else have you got out there? What do you get if you buy the Gears branded food item?
We have things like Boost, which is like a. It accelerates your XP faster.
Okay.
So a lot of our partnerships with Rockstar, partnerships with Chips Ahoy, a lot of it came with.
kind of like you get the sugar high. And
You're getting
the
the
sugar high in the game.
There you go. So a lot of that comes with Boost. There was exclusive weapon skins depending on the partnership.
Okay.
There's lots of in-game content.
Okay.
Typical stuff.
That's cool. Question from Sam I Am 111. Is it true that the next Gears will utilize an RPG leveling system? Can you go into any details about that? There's a little bit of an RPG light kind of vibe with Gears, I think, right now.
Well, I mean, we did with our PvE modes and arcade. We embraced heroes like Hero Light, where our characters have ultimate abilities, so they can use that to impact the battlefield, things like that.
Yep.
If you're playing Horde or you're playing Escape, which is our new 3-player sort of PvE mode.
Love Escape.
Escape's a ton of fun, and people are going crazy for it. The ones that love it. Love the heck out of it. They're playing a ton of it.
Cool.
So we have that, and then inside of that you have we have skill cards that you can level up. So there is it's not like Obsidian made RPG or something like that, but it is a different thing. In terms of future games, you never know.
Yeah. I mean, what you are doing with this game, and what I think was kind of initiated with Gears 4 and certainly carries over into Gears 5, is you're fleshing out the universe in some wild ways, and you're also creating time and distance. You're making, like, in a literal sense, you're making it bigger.
Well, this was the first Gears game ever that took place outside of like a day or two.
Yeah.
Almost every other Gears game prior to this was a snapshot in a moment.
Right.
And whereas we're Gears 5, we had part of it, and then we flashed forward ahead 6 months. The overworld, which is we're in the skiff where you're moving through the ice or the desert in Vaskar.
Yep.
All of that. This was the biggest Gears of War ever. And we're excited about it.
We got a good moment going on right here. This is awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's such a beautiful game. You
Yeah,
guys really. It's one of the best looking things I've ever seen.
I think it will go down as the best, if not one of the best looking games of this console cycle.
Of this console generation.
I can't see it not being that way.
The buzz out there right now, and it's weird because this year, especially with announcements from companies like Analog and everything, is this backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important. The Switch backwards compatibility with the SNES that Hans was talking about, and PS5 is intimating that they're going to be. Xbox been a big proponent of it.
Well, we've been doing it forever.
You guys did the remaster of Gears 1,
yeah,
right?
Gears UE, but I mean not just us, but like Microsoft with backwards compatibility has been something that has been
it's
core
important.
To that. People have an investment in their catalog.
Yeah.
There's games that I know that like I've gone back and been super excited to play, and then played them and been like, well, maybe it was better in my memory. And then there's other games where I've gone back. I know you guys were just talking about Ssx 3.
It's insane.
It stands up.
Xbox One.
I
It's
mean,
so good.
for me, like Ssx was a little predated my time at EA, but like. I feel like Skate is my SSX, whereas I go back and I look at Skate 2, and that's a game that I can put on now, and like I can play Hollow Meat with my kids, and we have a blast. Like it is such a great experience. So I think backwards compatibility is great. People want new experiences, but they want to be able, especially with stories.
Yeah. So my question to you, and I don't know if you can answer this, but how's Gears 4 or Gears 5 looking on Xbox Scarlet?
You know what? I haven't seen it, so I couldn't tell you. I would imagine it looks amazing, but I don't know. Like, I mean, only I think it's safe to say that I know as much about Xbox Scarlet as you know about Xbox Scarlet. Like, those are decisions that's made it at a Redmond level, and I know about Gears of War.
Every console transition, it is like it's like the NSA in the video game industry, where only people with a need-to-know basis are allowed in, and they're allowed to see little snippets of what's achievable.
Well, I can remember when I was at EA at a third-party level, and as the consoles were transitioning over, and even though we were making games for them, we still didn't see like they would be kind of like, oh, you're over there, and then only certain people can look at that. So, it's hysterical, right? I mean, and the security makes sense.
It does.
But I mean,
everybody wants to know what's next. I bugged Will, who evaded all my questions quite well. You've done quite well with that, but
we both like our jobs, so that helps.
And also a lot of that stuff is kept secret. I do have a little story. I'm diverging here a little bit, but it's a Bethesda-related cool moment where Todd Howard, between the original Xbox and the Xbox 360, we were there to talk about, I guess, Elder Scrolls on the original Xbox.
Okay.
But he ushered me into a little private room and he said, take a look at this. And he had the Xbox 360 version of the game running, and just the light gleaming off of all the armor and all in real time. And it was just like,
I feel like the jump from like PS2 and Xbox to Xbox 360 and PS3 was
insane.
Was huge.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the jump from like the 360 to Xbox One and the PS3 to PS4 was amazing.
Yeah.
But it to me, like,
wasn't as revolutionary.
It felt like it's better and it's lovely, and I love my Xbox One X, and it plays on it, and it's smooth. Like, the gameplay is better. Like, that transition has been a lot better, but like that holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody the first time they played on a 360 was like, this is,
it was HD.
Well, it was the first HD game, whereas now, because maybe not everybody has 4K TVs yet, and there's all these kind of stuff, and I think you're seeing a lot of that down that path.
Well, and also a lot of the core, I talk about this all the time, like the PS3 360 game, it's like 3D games were kind of, as we know them today in this era, they were kind of perfected.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the edges were smoothed out, literally and figuratively, so that it would, like, we got games like Uncharted, you know, and Assassin's Creed and Gears. And there was just this era of.
Well, I think what happened is when Sean was talking earlier about the idea of the game that he wanted to make that would take 5 years and hundreds of millions of dollars and that, whereas that evolution now, once you hit 360 and PS3, people were able to sit down and go like, oh,
yeah, you're gonna spend some
like
real money.
I can take the training wheels off, and like that was when dev teams got like bigger. That's when like everything happened, and like it was just I think the industry matured, and I think it really broke through, and I think it became this force that people loved.
So are we gonna see that again now with this new gen?
I hope so. I look at, like, again, I look at the published specs that were revealed at E3 last year for Scarlet, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I look at things like 120 FPS and like
up to 8K resolution.
I think all that stuff is to me, as a gamer, let alone as like from a development standpoint, I'm excited to go and play games like that.
Yeah.
I know that, like, I'm a staunch console player.
Yeah.
I never wanted to get it. I used to play a lot of WoW, but I never really got into that hamster wheel of the constant upgrade of the PC.
Yeah.
And I recognize that if you're like, the best way to play a shooter is definitely a console and keyboard from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah.
I understand that, or from a keyboard and mouse standpoint.
Yeah.
For me, like, I'm a console guy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about getting a console that's going to come out that is going to be like a really beefy PC.
And I think a lot was learned this generation with the mid-term upgrades as well.
Yeah,
as more 4K was getting adopted in the marketplace out there.
Well, I mean, the Xbox One came out 7 years ago, and the X 2 years ago now, and I mean, like, the X is for a lot of people, if the X, like, that's a phenomenal machine in and of itself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we've got exciting days to come. And what's next for Gears? Gears 5 is out.
Gears 5 is out. Gears Pop came out. So our mobile game.
Pop,
we've got Tactics is on the horizon. Can't say anything more about that.
Okay.
That's our turn-based strategy game.
Okay.
I've had some playing with it and looking at it. It's really cool. Like, we're doing we're taking that genre and we're adding gear stuff to it. It's pretty neat.
Can you tell us if there's an optimization team at the coalition that's working on the backwards compatibility with everything? Do you guys do that internally?
You mean
for
like
the
for
next machine?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think right now, like the team is pretty much really focused on live services.
Right.
So we like every game right now, the game has come out, and we're very proud of where the game is.
Yeah.
We know that the game can get better. From a technical stuff, there's something, and then we've got a lot of content to come out. We've got new modes, new maps coming.
Right.
So we do like everybody. We've got seasons. So our
Awesome.
operation. So our next operation starts in December.
Okay.
And with that one, we're gonna have new stuff coming out that a lot of Gears fans are gonna be like, oh, hello.
Awesome.
So we're excited about it. So we're
it's out,
focused. We're
but it
focused
ain't
on.
done.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I mean, I think we've got a very robust roadmap ahead of a lot of new content that's gonna be added to the game.
Awesome. So when is the coalition going to be on EP Live next then?
Well, whenever you want us.
December-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
Done.
Let's give it up for Dana Sissons and all of the folks at the coalition. What a year!
Hold on. I'm gonna just do one more call out though.
Yes.
Because you're wrapping up. Our studio is actually streaming on Twitch.com/the coalition.
Right on.
They're doing an Extra Life. They're doing the full 24 hours.
Oh,
so
good
if
job.
you want to stop by and support them, they'd appreciate that.
Awesome. Okay. And I just want to, I forget the URL here. I got to give that URL.
Right there.
Oh, there it is. Okay. If you want to support the Extra Life initiative, please do that, and it's going to help out the BC Children's Hospital. Go to bcchf.ca/donate, and make sure when you do donate, you put in Electric Playground or EP Live in the comments so people know how you got there, okay? And thank you all for your support. And let's take a look now at why we all got together to do this.
Avery was born on St. Patrick's Day. I mean, you really can't get a luckier birthday if you tried. And for the first little while, everything went very, very smoothly. At my 3-week baby well check, they mentioned that she hadn't been gaining weight as fast as they would have liked. We learned words like CHF, congestive heart failure, CHD, congenital heart disease, and Al Kappa, which is what Avery's diagnosis is, which is anomalous left coronary artery from the pulmonary artery. It has a 90% mortality rate if they're not diagnosed in the first couple months. And here Avery was 2.5 years old. No doctor could believe she was alive. Her heart literally went like this, it didn't squeeze, it twitched. Avery's surgery went very smoothly. I think more smoothly than they anticipated. I spent the next 4 days sleeping by her side. I said, "It's okay, baby, it's okay, mommy's here."
She's laughing and she's playing and doing all the normal stuff, and she's a super funny kid, and so she's always joking around and having a good time, and that's when you know that she's doing really well. And thankfully, that's how she's been for a good 5 years now.
I thought it slowed me down, but I believe now that I can do whatever I want no matter how many surgeries I've had. I wouldn't be the same person without those scars.
To be able to have the technology and the equipment and the expertise to do the magic that they do is so important to me as a dad. I mean, it's the reason why my baby's alive.
They change lives. They save lives.
Even if I could change the fact that my heart was different, I probably wouldn't. I feel that I would never change the pathway that I've been through, and that all the curves were just right.
Man, what an incredible day. Allison is back from the BC Children's Hospital, and I just have to thank you and Extra Life for reaching out to me and to EP to to put this together. And Blake and I were both really pleased that we could help out in any way here. And
well, thank you so much. This is such an honor to be with you, and to our amazing guests who came and joined us today. We're just over the moon for the support and the love that we've been getting. So thank you so much for having us.
You know, and I see your comments and your feedback on the chat, and people like are happy that we're using this platform to do something like this. Trust me, this won't be the last time. We love this whole idea, and next year I think we'll get together a little sooner and maybe build it up a little bit more with some other stuff. But a huge shout out and thank you to Will Ho from Electronic Arts and the NHL team for bringing NHL 20 to the show today. Our pal Steve Rechtschaffner, who is working on a new action sports game taking place in the snow, and EP is where you heard about that for the first time. And also our buds at the Coalition and Dana Sissons for coming in and talking about the development of Gears. But importantly, to Hans, who is proof positive that video games can make a very, very big positive force and be a positive force in people's lives. And, you know, all the incredible work that you guys are all doing at BC Children's Hospital, too. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're over the moon, and BC alone, we're really hoping to raise about $250,000 just from local gamers here in the province. So every dollar counts, and we just really, really appreciate everybody's support of this stream and this event, but all the different individuals, community events, and all our corporate teams that are hard at work playing their favorite games today and for the next, hopefully, 24 hours.
Yes.
And appreciate everybody's patience. Apologies for any issues with our website, but please continue to persevere.
Yep.
And support us if you can. Every dollar counts, so thank you.
And that URL again is bcchf.ca/donate. And when you donate, because you got there from here, just make sure you pop in the electric playground into the comments for us, okay? Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Extra Life for this fantastic opportunity. Good luck today to Extra Life and to all of the streamers across North America that are taking part in marathons. Make sure you support some of those folks as well. Have a great day today, and make sure that you play a little bit, and make sure that you also play forever.
I ended up at the IWK because I have spinal muscular atrophy type 2, and it's every single muscle in my body. I also have scoliosis.
Scoliosis is a side-to-side curve of the spine, and it's very common in teenagers. Van's scoliosis is a little bit different in that he had it under the age of 10.
It was very bad, to the point where it was crushing his organs. He was leaning over to the left-hand side. It was inhibiting his ability to breathe. So we knew eventually that we would have to have back surgery. We knew that there were many possible complications, one being his breathing. Because he has SMA and a very low muscle tone, they have to be very careful as to what kind of anesthesia they use. So when I found out that there was this innovative surgery called magic rods, there were very few Canadian doctors that were doing it. When I found out that there was a doctor at IWK here in Halifax, it was amazing.
The IWK means everything to me because when I'm super sick, they always take care of me